In the 1980s, America declared a war on drugs. At the same time, the United States was fighting secret wars overseas. What followed, according to journalists, court records, and sworn testimony, was one of the most controversial allegations in modern U.S. history. That proceeds from cocaine trafficking were allowed, or overlooked, to help fund covert foreign conflicts, while crack cocaine devastated black communities across America. This is not a theory. It is an allegation supported by investigations, declassified documents, and first-hand accounts, yet still fiercely debated. In the early 1980s, the Reagan administration backed the Contra rebels in Nicaragua, a right-wing paramilitary group fighting the socialist Sandinista government. Congress, however, passed the Boland Amendment, which made it illegal for U.S. intelligence agencies to fund the Contras. The war did not stop. Instead, funding moved into the shadows. This period later became known as the Iran-Contra affair, where U.S. officials secretly sold weapons to Iran and redirected the money to the Contras, an operation the CIA acknowledged. But weapons sales were not the only alleged funding stream. Multiple investigations, including those by the Associated Press, U.S. Senate committees, and Inspector General reports, found that known cocaine traffickers had connections to Contra supply networks. Some traffickers received protection or leniency while cooperating with U.S.-backed forces. Drug allegations against Contra-linked individuals were often ignored or deprioritized. The CIA has consistently stated it did not intentionally traffic drugs. However, later internal reports admitted the agency failed to stop or properly investigate drug activity tied to its assets. This distinction between direct involvement and willful blindness is where the controversy lives. During this same period, crack cocaine appeared suddenly and aggressively in U.S. cities. Crack was cheaper, more addictive, and easier to distribute than powder cocaine. It spread rapidly through neighborhoods already suffering from deindustrialization, unemployment, underfunded schools, aggressive policing. The impact was catastrophic. Families destroyed, mass incarceration, an explosion of street violence, and the drugs did not arrive randomly. One of the most central figures in this story is Freeway Rick Ross, a major crack distributor in Los Angeles during the 1980s. Ross later testified and publicly claimed that his cocaine supplier was tied to Contra-linked operatives. The drugs originated from Central America. He was unaware of the geopolitical implications at the time. Ross's operation flooded south-central Los Angeles with crack cocaine. From there, the drug and its profits spread nationwide. As crack profits surged, street organizations like the Bloods and Crips became deeply entangled in drug distribution. This was not an ideological movement. It was economic survival turned violent capitalism. Crack money, increased access to weapons, intensified territorial disputes, accelerated gang expansion into cities across the U.S. Entire neighborhoods became battle zones. Meanwhile, the federal response focused less on rehabilitation and more on punishment. In 1996, investigative journalist Gary Webb published the Dark Alliance series. His reporting alleged CIA-linked drug traffickers fueled the crack epidemic. Profits helped support the Contra War. U.S. authorities ignored the consequences at home. Webb was heavily attacked by major media outlets. Yet years later, CIA Inspector General reports acknowledged that drug trafficking allegations were real. The agency failed to act. Warnings were suppressed. Webb was not fully wrong, but he was not fully protected. No senior intelligence officials were criminally convicted for these actions. The communities affected by crack, however, paid the price. Mandatory minimum sentences, 3 strikes laws, generational trauma. The war on drugs became, in practice, a war on specific communities. And the wealth generated by the drug trade never returned to rebuild what was destroyed. Whether by direct action or deliberate neglect, the evidence shows that U.S. foreign policy and drug trafficking intersected. Crack cocaine reshaped American cities, violence and incarceration followed. This story is not about conspiracy, it is about consequences. When wars are funded in secret, when accountability is avoided, and when profits matter more than people, the damage does not stay overseas. It comes home.